Good afternoon, class. My name is Tony Hemphill, and this is my video synopsis of Chapter 12, Persuasive Speaking. What is persuasive speaking? According to the chapter, persuasive speaking is a communication process that involves both verbal and nonverbal messages that attempts to reinforce our change listeners' attitudes, beliefs, values, or behaviors. A really good example that they provided in Chapter 12 is speakers whose topic is the environment face some stiff competition from listeners who believe that the environment is a non-issue. We know that persuasion is an everyday occurrence. We come across every day of people of our lives to try to persuade us either to buy something, tell us about a book, a video, or something of that nature. So persuasion is a vital part of every day of our lives, and it's important to understand how to deal with persuasive situations effectively. In this chapter, they did a really good job providing that. The chapter basically showed us ways to identify the goals of persuasion, and some sub-goals of the persuasion is adoption, which is an action sub-goal, asking listeners to demonstrate their acceptance, attitudes, beliefs, or values by performing the behavior suggested by the speaker. Or another one is discontinuance. This is also an action sub-goal that asks listeners to demonstrate their alteration or attitude, belief, or values by stopping certain behaviors. Of an action discontinuance, you want your listeners to stop doing something, i.e. like smoking, drinking, eating a certain kind of food, things of that nature. Another action would be deterrence, which is ask the listeners to demonstrate their acceptance of the attitude, belief, or value by avoiding, again, certain behaviors. Samples of this type of deterrent messages will be having a person eat good breakfast, and things like that. Another one, action would be continuance. This would be an example where this would be as if you eat breakfast, don't stop, continue to volunteer in the community, continue to purchase or consume organic foods if that's what you choose to eat. This action is similar to adoption because you want a positive behavior to occur. So with continuance, you're trying to keep an existing behavior rather than begin a new behavior. Well, of course, with persuasion, you got to be realistic in setting persuasive goals and determine what to expect. You want your readers to achieve or your listeners to achieve. Another thing Chapter 12 talked about is choosing topics that's suitable for your listeners when you're choosing a persuasive assignment. So with this, topic should, of course, begin with the question of fact, value, or policy. Your choice of one of these questions will help you determine what to include in your persuasive speech. And I know with our next assignment, most of us in this class will be dealing with our marijuana assignment, so that should be really interesting and find out how we come across making that persuasive to our audience. Of course, you got to start with yourself, keep your listeners engaged with the knowledge and the interest that that we have. So again, our topic is going to be on marijuana, so we should really keep our audience engaged with that one. The Chapter 12 also explains Aristotle's modes of presentations, which he describes it by the ethos, logos, and pathos. It increases our credibility in reference to our persuasive. The speaker's actions and demeanor creates each of these appeals during our speech. Ethos refers to the speaker's ethical characters, while logos refers to the substance of the speech, which again, related to our marijuana topic that we have. Pathos is the emotional appeal that can move an audience. So it's going to be really interesting to find out how we come across with this marijuana topic. We'll definitely construct our speech in ways to establish credibility. Our speech should identify the sources of our information that's going to be presented in our oral notes and our footnotes. When we develop our persuasive speech, we got to carefully, again, present information that construct our persuasive goals. We got to make sure we recognize our errors, evaluate and assess our own persuasive speech, so that others understand where we're coming from. So I look forward to doing this persuasive speech, and this is pretty much a short synopsis of what Chapter 12 entails of persuasive speaking. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.